In this video, we're going to look at finding the composite area of 2D shapes, sometimes known as compound area. Now, composite or compound area is calculated by adding or subtracting the areas of known 2D shapes. So a reminder of our area formula: for a square or rectangle, its area equals base times height, or sometimes you'll see it as length times breadth, so A equals B times H or A equals L times B. For a triangle, the area is the base times height divided by 2. This is because a rectangle, if we use one of the diagonals, splits into two equally sized triangles, so A equals B times H divided by 2. For a parallelogram, our area formula is area equals base times height, so A equals B times H. With a rhombus or kite, we're not using the lengths of the sides, we're using the lengths of the diagonals. So area equals the big diagonal multiplied by the small diagonal divided by 2. So A equals big D times little d divided by 2. And finally, the area of a circle is area equals pi times the radius squared. And that means that A equals pi r squared, where pi is 3.14 and r squared means r times r. Remember, the height has to be at right angles to the base. So in our first example, we want to find the total area of this shape. And you can see that we can break up this shape into two rectangles. And we know that the area of a rectangle formula is A equals B times H. So we've got rectangle A, which is at the bottom of our composite shape. And it has dimensions of 10 and 2. And then we've got the rectangle at the top of our shape, which is area B, and we can see that the dimensions of it are 4 by 7. So let's draw sketches of the shapes separately. So first we've got rectangle A, and it's got a base of 10 centimeters and a height of 2 centimeters. So we write our formula A equals B times H, and then we substitute in our numbers 10 times 2. And we know that 10 times 2 is 20, and it's squared centimeters for our units for area. Next, we're going to draw a sketch of rectangle B. And from the picture, we can see that the height of rectangle B is 7 centimeters, and the base of rectangle B is 4 centimeters. So again, write the formula A equals B times H. That equals 4 times 7. Giving us an area for rectangle B of 28 squared centimeters. Now, to work out the total area, we need to add together the areas of A and the area of B. So the total area is going to equal 20 plus 28, and adding them together, we get 48 squared centimeters as the total area of this shape. Now, in our next example, we actually haven't got this shape split up. We're going to have to do that for ourselves. But you can see that it's obvious we've got a triangle attached to the top of this rectangle. So we'll call the rectangle A, and you can see if we highlight that, we've got a base of 8 and a height of 5. And then we've got a triangle at the top, and the height is 5, and we're going to need to work out what the base is when we need to work out the area of that shape. So let's sketch rectangle A and put on the dimensions. So we've said that the base is 8 centimeters and the height is 5 centimeters. We're going to write our formula A equals B times H, and that's going to equal 8 multiplied by 5, giving us an area for A of 40 squared centimeters. Now, the triangle has a height of 5 centimeters, so we can put that onto our triangle, and it's got a base of 8 take away 1 take away 2, which are the bits of the rectangle on either side, giving us a base of 5 centimeters, and remembering that our formula has to be the perpendicular or right angled height. So our formula A equals B times H divided by 2 gives us 5 times 5 divided by 2, and that's going to equal 25 divided by 2, giving us an area for the triangle of 12.5 squared centimeters. So to work out the total area of this shape, we need to add together the area of the rectangle A and the area of the triangle B. So our total area is going to be 40 plus 12.5, giving us a total area of 52.5 squared centimeters. Now in this example, we want to find the shaded area, and you can see that we've got a triangle with a square inside, but the square isn't shaded, so we're going to have to remove that. So we've got a large triangle with a base of 10 and a height of 15 meters, and then we're going to take away that square from the area of the triangle to work out the shaded area. So we need to take away B rather than adding it on this time. So let's work out the area of the triangle first. So if we draw our sketch, our base is 10 meters and our perpendicular height is 15 meters. Our formula A equals B times H divided by 2. So we're substituting in 10 multiplied by 15 divided by 2, which is 150 divided by 2, giving us an area for the triangle of 75, and it's squared meters this time. Make sure you pay attention to the unit you're using. Now we need to take away the area of the square, so we're going to need to calculate it, and the dimensions of the square are 5 meters by 5 meters. So A equals B times H, and that's 5 times 5, giving us an area of 25 squared meters. Now be careful at this point because we want the shaded area, so we're subtracting. So the shaded area is going to equal the area of the triangle, 75, take away 25. And it matters what order you do it in, because if you subtract the other way around, you'd get a negative area, which would be impossible. So the shaded area is 50 squared meters. Now in our final example, we want to find the total area of this shape. Now we can see at the bottom of the shape, we've got a parallelogram. And the formula for the area of a parallelogram is A equals B times H, where, if we remember, the height has to be at right angles. So the H that we're going to use in this shape is the 2 centimeters and the B is the 4 centimeters. And then at the top, we've got a semicircle. So that's half of a circle, and our circle formula is A equals pi r squared. So when we're working out the area of B, we're going to have to make sure that we work out what the radius is. So let's look at the parallelogram first. So to work out the area of the parallelogram, we know that the perpendicular height is 2 centimeters and the base is 4 centimeters. So we're going to write our formula, A equals B times H, and that equals 4 multiplied by 2, giving us an area for the parallelogram of 8 squared centimeters. Now for our semicircle, from the picture we can see that the diameter is 4 centimeters because it's the same length as the long side of the parallelogram. So the radius is going to be 4 divided by 2, so it's 2 centimeters. Now we want to write down our area of a circle, so that's pi r squared, but we want half of the circle, so we're going to have to divide that by 2 because it's a semicircle on top of our parallelogram. Pi is 3.14, and then we're multiplying it by 2 times 2 for r squared, and then we're going to divide it by 2. So the area of the whole circle would be 12.56 divided by 2 for the semicircle, and that gives us an area for the semicircle B of 6.28 squared centimeters. So our total area, we're adding these two areas together, is going to be 8 plus 6.28, giving us a total area of 14.28 squared centimeters.